Hello, good morning. There we go. Is this working now? I don't know. It says connecting the video. Okay, cool. So I think I have that up on the yoga page, but I'm just gonna see if I can share it. Oh, there we go. Free class, share. Posted. Awesome. Perfect. Sorry about that. This being a little bit later. I always pre-schedule my yoga classes and use that as I couldn't find the pre-scheduled one, so I'm looking around for it, trying different things, and not winning. So I just went go live and thought, but then it makes a different one, and anyone who got a reminder with a link sent to it, it's not the same link, so hopefully people can still find me here. So we'll try to work on that. It doesn't help that it's also a little bit late. So c'est la vie, it is what it is. Welcome to yoga. Real person yoga, and sometimes real people are late. It just is what it is. Okay. And real people still like to drink coffee. And it is very bright. So let's turn that down a little bit. We'll just adjust everything here together. We've learned lots doing these little online videos. There we go. That little noise is my dog scooching under the little table under the camera. It's where she likes to hang out while we do yoga together. So, this is what we got going on. Today is Friday. My Fridays used to be a yin yang class where we just kind of laid around and stretched and felt wonderful, and it was really quite wonderful, like just a delicious class. But now I'm calling it extra gentle yoga. I'm trying this little hybrid, or maybe more of a true yin yang. We'll still move a little bit, but it'll still be nice and extra gentle in nature. And so this is going to be an awesome class if you are brand new to yoga, if you've never tried yoga ever before in your life, you've never even seen a photo of it. Perfect. This is where we want to hang out. If you don't want to get sweaty before work, this is a great option for that as well. That's the goal, is to do a non-sweating class, but I'll always provide some variations. So even if you do have a more regular practice and you're wanting to get in on some of these free videos that I'm doing, we'll start off really easy, and then I'll give you options to make it harder and harder and harder. So that is always one thing that I try to do. And so that's what we're going to be working on today, is this kind of gentle-ish yin-yang, kind of more movement than yin-yang, or my yin-yangs normally have been. So if you are standing, you can stay standing. You can work your way down into seated. You can lay down on your mat, however you want to start things off. And just start by getting into a position where you can start to roll those shoulders back and down. You can start to take it easy, engage in a little bit of gentleness and self-awareness. Maybe you can start to scan through the body, noticing for those areas that feel really open and good, and maybe having some gratitude, but those areas are always harder to find, because odds are those areas of tension and tightness are just a little bit louder. And so taking some time to listen to those areas and just simply acknowledge them. Okay, I see you, right ankle, and the fact that you're still very tight today and you're a little upset that I didn't do my exercises yesterday. I see you, I got you. That's all. I see you, knee. And the fact that we overdid it on a certain stretch yesterday and going all crazy. Thank you for being my knee. And just moving your way through and just doing that scan of the body. That's really all it is. It's a great time to build that self-awareness, that ability to be aware of how you're feeling and how you're doing even physically. I think physically is the easiest because you can physically connect with it, and maybe you give yourself a little massage and try to start to feel that release. But another cool way to help change and start to relieve some of that tension is actually with the breath. Those exhales are really powerful for softening and letting go. So if you want to test it out, let's take a nice big inhale. Let's get nice and tall, breathing it in, getting as much air in our lungs as possible. And on that exhale, maybe even audibly sigh it out. Just let it go big. Even hearing a big exhale will tell our brain that it's time to relax. Odds are your shoulders dropped and back and down. They started to feel really good. You can even take a couple of those. So take that nice big inhale. Let it go, big giant exhale. Just feel like I need some more lights on here. Beautiful. Nice big inhale. One more, breathing it in. And an exhale. So good. And that right there is the basics of yoga, is starting to be aware and starting to work with the breath. So right there, we're already doing some yoga. If you want, you're more than welcome to continue with those nice big inhales and getting nice and tall, and those exhales starting to soften, starting to finish up that body scan, letting it feel nice and good, just all of that awareness. And then maybe you want to set a little intention. What is your intent for our time together this morning? Nothing overly complicated, just simply has to be a little goal, maybe a little purpose to your practice. Or if nothing comes to mind, you can just simply smile at yourself and just take a little moment of joy, a little moment of self-love. I love to seal those little intentions in with a nice big inhale, breathing it in, and a nice slow exhale. Beautiful. Let's start to wake up through the body. A little wiggle into fingers, little wiggle into toes. Maybe you start to roll your wrists and ankles, getting some of those cracks and those pops out. Letting it feel nice and good. Beautiful. Oh, so nice. If you're in seated, let's roll on down onto our backs. Starting to explore a little movement in a nice reclined position. I like to start with my knees bent and my feet planted, mostly because I just find that a little more gentle on my lower back, but you're welcome to extend the legs nice and long if you want a little more. I'm going to take that nice good morning stretch, reaching my arms up overhead. Oh, it seems to be forcing yawn, but yawn is also a great way to start to stretch through the jaw. So if you are taking that little yawn, really stretch it, let it feel really good. Keep reaching those arms up, oh so nice and tall, and exhale. Just let the arms fall and hang heavy. Feeling that pulling everything back together and in. Let's roll those shoulders back and down. Have a nice gentle tuck of the chin. And let's take one more of those good morning stretches. Just reaching the arms up, getting nice and tall and long like a pencil. If you want, you can start to kick one leg or both legs, maybe even point through the toes. Finding all that length and a little bit of openness through that front body. Letting it feel really good. Just starting to get a little bit taller. See if you can feel that in the ribs. Can you reach up just a little more, feeling that pull into the middle of the body as well. And exhale, relax. Start to bring the knees in towards the chest. Hugging the knees in. Taking that little rock from side to side. Giving that low back a nice little massage. Maybe giving those shoulders a nice little massage as well. Just noticing where you start to notice that. Keeping that chin still nice and tucked. It's really normal for us to start to look back behind us, which overarches through the neck. Although it is a great little throat opener, so, not necessarily bad either, but I think we spend a lot of time kind of embracing some more negative postural stances. And so taking a few moments to work on correcting them is a great option. Beautiful. Let's find our stillness. Let's reach those arms out nice and wide and just start to drop the legs down over towards the left. So just coming into a little twist. So even if you hang out here, you have your feet connected, but knees are still really up nice and high, that is a great option. It's nice and gentle. You might just be getting a little bit of rotation through the spine, and that is great. If you want a little more, you can look towards the right. And if you feel like you need something under there, if you're feeling lots of pull, a little block, a pillow, a pot flipped upside down, are great little tools that we can use at home. Or other option is if one leg goes down really far and you have a big gaping gap there, little block in between the legs might help you find a little comfort and release as well. As you continue to maybe roll onto that left hip. If you want, you can bring that left hand just on top of the legs. It just adds a little bit of weight in. Not actively yanking or pulling the knees down. That's definitely not the goal. We don't want to over-rotate through the spine if we don't have that range of motion yet. But it's just a way to subtly help gravity. It just adds a little more in. Feels really good. Beautiful. Let's take one more nice inhale. Maybe lengthen through the spine. Exhale, see if you can soften. Feeling like you're melting in towards your mat. Take one more nice big inhale, and on that exhale, start to pull that belly button in towards the spine, strengthening through this core, and swing the legs all the way up. And let's bring them over towards the right, dropping them down, either just planting the feet down or starting to lower the knees down towards the ground. Gaze can go towards the left, and that right hand can come on top of the hip, top of the leg, on top of the knee. Doesn't have to come up either. If you're liking all of that length from reaching out and trying to keep that left shoulder blade glued down, is a great option. If that shoulder is starting to roll up and you're kind of sitting here in this weird bent situation, that's probably painful on your shoulder. It probably does not feel good. So the solution is just bringing your hand closer towards the body that allow that angle of the shoulder to be a little bit more relaxed as you kind of soften in. So there's not that expectation that the arms stay at that 90 degrees from the body. They can come in a little bit more. Let's take that nice big inhale. See if you can lengthen, getting nice and tall, feeling that stretchiness through the spine. Exhale, relax. See if you can melt in towards that mat, softening and letting go of that excess tension. One more nice big inhale. Start to really lengthen, and on that exhale, start to get nice and strong, pulling that core in so that you can nice and easily swing those knees up and keeping the knees right over the hips. So option is to hang on to the knees, keeping it really quite gentle, holding onto the sides or the tops, even bringing the feet down. If you want a little more, the feet are coming to 90. And if you want a little more, you're starting to let go of the feet. Arms can either hang out alongside the body. It's a great way to stabilize, is to actively press those palms in towards the mat, pressing the shoulders in towards the mat. Or you can even tuck the hands under the sits bones. That adds that nice little bit of height, so that low back is pressing nicely in towards the mat. That'll really help stabilize as well. So keep pulling that belly button in so you're not arching in that back. That motion of drawing the belly button in usually helps press that low back in nice and tight. So find where you want to hang out, and let's just add a little movement, just a nice little kick of the knees, just kind of extending one foot just a little bit. This is going to start to get into those hip flexors and a little bit into those lower abdominals. So you can still do this with your hands on your knees for that really extra gentle version of this. Picking your pace as you keep going. If you want a little more, you're making that movement a little bit bigger, maybe even a little bit bigger. So your choice for how big this goes. The farther out you bring your feet, the harder you'll be working. So your choice. Keep drawing the knees in towards the body and extending the opposite, just wherever that's at. And start to notice the ankles and the feet. Are the feet just hanging out floppy? Or do you want to maybe add a little flex to the foot, bring the toes in, kicking out through the heel? This will start to activate a little bit more into that back line of the body, into the hamstrings and into the glutes. Or maybe you want to play around pointing the toes. Starting to activate a little more into the ankle, into that top line of the legs, or maybe you want to do a couple kicks of one and a couple kicks of the other. Totally your choice. It's just a nice way to warm up the feet and the ankles as well. And look at all that nice distraction from the hip flexors and from the core. Let's take one more either side, kicking it long. Bring those knees back in, plant the feet down. If you're sitting on your hands, untuck them. And just drop the knees, maybe just really gently from side to side for that little windshield wiper motion. Knees can come all the way down or stay up a little bit. Your choice. So good. Beautiful. Let's come back to stillness. Planting those feet in nice and close towards the sits bones. So take a little movement or moment to kind of walk them in a little closer. Maybe wiggle those sits bones down a little bit just to feel that nice bend at the knee and so that we're nice and strong through our bridge pose, because that's what we're working into. So let's roll those shoulders back and down. Really notice all that surface area that the shoulder blades have. Let it feel really good. Just becoming aware of that point. Take a nice big inhale. Let's get nice and tall. Take that exhale. Draw the belly button in towards the spine and start to press into the feet, and let that be the power that lifts the hips up. So stomping the feet down, pressing in, making sure those knees are not splaying open. Keep them nicely in line with the feet, with those hip bones. You can be hanging out at like 50 or 60%, just starting out really nice and gentle here, not quite going up into your max. Just starting to notice the shoulders and the feet and bringing some awareness to them. So if you want a little more, you can really press the shoulders down and reach the hands in the direction of the feet. So they don't have to come to touch. They're just reaching down, or maybe even interlace them under those sits bones and pull the hands down. That creates lots of openness through the collarbone. Makes this a great little heart opener for a pose. You might be starting to notice the legs and the feet. If you want a little more from there, start to just squeeze those glutes together. That might bring your hips up a little bit higher, but you're starting to activate more muscles, starting to get a little bit more stable and stronger in those poses. And maybe you lift the toes up, stamping the heels down extra. Feel how strong that back line is there, squeezing those glutes. And then maybe you roll into the toes, lifting the heels up off the ground, noticing how that activates into the quads a little bit more. Beautiful. And let's bring the feet back nice and flat and roll down nice and slow. Take your time rolling down here. Just one vertebrae at a time. Letting it feel really good, like a nice little massage as you lower in. Excellent. Let's take that nice inhale, getting nice and tall, extending the head upwards a little bit. And that exhale, getting nice and strong, pulling the belly button in, pressing the feet down, hips start to come up. Maybe this time you hang out at that 60, 70, or 80, maybe even 80% range. So the legs are nice and engaged. Those glutes are starting to work, and you're actively still pressing those hips up, trying to find that nice openness. Beautiful. Make sure those knees are still in line. Mine always like to splay outwards. If you do have a block, that's a great opportunity. You can even grab a little block. If your legs also fall open, bringing a block there and trying to keep the block there. Don't let the block fall down. That's the name of this game. And this actually makes it significantly harder for me because now I'm also actively squeezing the block together. So if you have one and you're trying this, your choice just to let it hang out there with a little bit of pressure, or you can really start to squeeze that together, engaging those inner thighs, starting to work those. Beautiful. Send those hips back up. Mine's starting to droop back down with all that chatting. So nice and strong through the feet. You can interlace those hands, finding that openness through the front body, remembering to breathe. Take a nice big inhale breath. And on that exhale, maybe you explore that edge, pressing the hips up a little bit higher, finding that strength, coming into your max or whatever that might look like, maybe just that 80%, 90%. And then let's roll things down nice and slow. Take a moment or two to actually come all the way down. I'm going to just tuck the block off towards the side and hug the knees in towards the chest. Nice little counter pose for that. If you want a little more, you can start to bring the head up, or even trying to connect head with the knees. Just really pulling everything together so nice and tiny. Then release, rolling those shoulders back down. And let's make our way up to seated, so you can roll onto your favorite side and then press yourself up. Or you can take a couple of rock and rolls, giving that spine a little massage before you come up. So good. There we go. So if cross-legged doesn't work for you, you're welcome to extend the legs long or extend one leg long. You can still do everything we're about to do with that. So both legs would keep things a little bit more balanced. Just finding that position, or sitting on your block. Hips come a little bit higher, that pelvis lifts up. Then even come up just enough over the knees that you can find that openness and start to release that low back. So maybe that is a great option. If you've never tried sitting on a block, if you have a book handy, and just sitting on the lowest section, so what, a 2 or a 3-inch book, maybe you got an old phone book or two, playing around with that is a wonderful option. I've got really externally rotated hips as is, so I find sitting on the block it's not what I want today, so I'm not taking it. That's as simple as that. I don't have to explain it further. So let's take that nice big inhale. Start to get nice and tall. Take that exhale, pull the core in. Starting to relax those shoulders back down. That's inhale. Reach those arms out towards the side and reach them all the way up, connecting movement with that breath. Hands come together. Exhale, pull the hands to heart center. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, hands to heart. One more, reaching it up nice and tall. Exhale, hands to heart. So good. Pressing the hands together. Just ever so gently, starting just to feel that engagement through the arms. Maybe even squeeze those shoulder blades, rolling those shoulder blades back a little bit further. Beautiful. Just a nice way to really start to feel that power within the arms and the upper body. And take a nice big inhale and a lengthen, getting a little bit taller, but don't float those low ribs out. Exhale, pull that belly button in, staying nice and strong. And let's just start to tip over towards the left. So imagine you're just sliding your back down that wall behind you. Nice little invisible wall. Maybe your elbow connects with the leg, or maybe you just release and bring your hand down. If you want a little more, that left hand can reach up. If you want to keep it really gentle, you can just relax that. That right hand reaches up. If you want to keep it gentle, that right hand can just relax down on the leg. But we're trying to find some openness through this right side. So as you lift the arm up, you can find a little bit more stretch. You can add a nice little pulse in here. And taking a couple nice inhales and exhales, still connecting with that breath. And trying to spin that right shoulder open, maybe even gaze goes up. That'll start to roll it back. One more nice big breath here. See if you can pull the ears away from the shoulder. Exhale, press into that bottom hand. And start to come all the way back up. And hands to heart center. So good. That little gentle press, rolling those shoulder blades back. And let's come down towards the right, just starting to tip things over, start to feel that engagement, and start to lift that left elbow up. Maybe you just hang out here, connecting the elbow onto the leg. That's a great option, because even as you press your hands together, you can spin that top shoulder open, finding a little bit more strength and depth, and then maybe even you start to reach that top arm up. Bottom arm, right arm can stay relaxed, or you can start to reach it out. Just finding that version of a side bend that actually feels good for you today. So I like the whole resting on the leg one. If your legs are extended long, maybe you want to reach that arm out. You can take a couple little pulses here, just starting to create a little bit of length through that side body, through that rib cage. So good. Taking a nice big inhale And exhale. On the inhale, pull the head, pull the ears away from the shoulders. And let's come all the way back up. Take a little moment, reach those arms up, just getting nice and tall. Exhale, start to reach forward, coming into a little bow or your version of a little forward fold with a nice flat back. So roll those shoulders back and down. Even if you don't come down very far, if it's just like an inch or two that your shoulders are coming past your hips, and that still really works. It's designed to add some length to the spine here and start to release and add some tension into that low back. So as you're extending the head nice and long, maybe you got your hands on your knees, maybe you're touching down onto the ground. Create a little pull sensation with the fingers on the floor. See how that finds a little more length. I think that's really fun. You can extend the head even a little taller. As you feel comfortable, you can walk those hands farther, keeping that nice flat back though, so we're not rounding through the shoulders here. You can add that gentle little tuck of the chin. Beautiful. Pressing into those hands, let's come on back up. Sitting nice and tall, and let's switch to the feet. So opposite foot in front or on top, however you're sitting. If you've got your legs just extended really long, you have nothing to switch, so just hang out there. Finding all of that length. Extend the head a little bit higher, see if you can get a little taller. Roll those shoulders back and down, pull that belly button in, finding that nice bit of strength. Take a nice big inhale breath, breathing it in. Exhale, nice and strong. Let's inhale now, reaching those arms up, reaching up. Maybe you're coming up all the way, maybe you're just coming to a T or to half. Exhale, pull the hands in. So if that's too much on the shoulders, you also have the option to just inhale, open, exhale, close. Maybe that works a little bit better. So just trying to provide a few little modifications. Beautiful. One more, nice big open and a close. Hands hanging out at heart center, pressing in, squeezing those shoulder blades back, finding all of that length. Let's reach now for opposite knee. You can reach for your left knee as we get ready to twist. Left hand extends long and starts to open up as you start to spin those shoulders. Coming into your twist, your hand can plant down right behind you like a second spine, maybe a little bit close, tucked in like a tail, like close to the tailbone. Let's get nice and tall first, and then exhale. Maybe you start to press into those hands ever so gently to deepen that twist, or rotating around just a little more. Maybe you just simply look behind that back shoulder, hanging out. And this nice rotation. Notice, are you just feeling this through the spine, or can you feel that through some of those internal organs as well? They're getting a nice big squeeze as well. Think of it as wringing out a dishcloth. Just twisting everything, adding a little bit of compression. Beautiful. Let's exhale, coming back through center. Maybe you take a little moment coming to hands to heart center, just a position of gratitude, nothing fancy. And then it's just a great way to then reach for that opposite knee, reaching for that right knee. Right hand extends out, reaches out in front. I'm going to bring the thumb pointing down as I reach all the way back behind me. Starting that twist with that nice little movement there. Planting that hand down, take an inhale breath, get a little bit taller. Exhale, maybe you press into those hands or just start to spin that right shoulder back a little bit farther. Feeling that nice rotation all the way through. Maybe that gaze goes back behind the shoulder, noticing your cup of coffee to which you take a sip of. Beautiful. On that next exhale, nice and slowly, let's start to spin back towards center. Take that nice big inhale, get nice and tall. On the exhale, bring hands to heart center and just start to bow forward, coming into that little forward fold that we did beforehand. Maybe elbows come all the way down to the knees, but that's pretty deep, so maybe it's just hands on the knees, maybe it's hands on the ground. Still doing this with that nice flat back. Maybe walk those hands a little bit more forward. Take that nice inhale and lengthen, create that little pull sensation. Exhale, see if you can relax. Can you soften a little bit through the hips, through that low back? Beautiful. So good. I was thinking that once a month on these Fridays, I would also try to teach a chair yoga class. So if that's something that interests you, drop me a comment down below or send me a message and say, yes, I want that. And then I will try to incorporate some of those in. It could also just be called office yoga, maybe something you can do at your desk. Let's work our way back up to a nice seated position. You can still get a huge workout in chair yoga. It doesn't necessarily mean passive or easy. It just means that we use the chair to assist us in some of the poses. And to be honest, sometimes even if you've never done a chair downward dog, it is like revolutionary for your shoulders. It feels so good. I absolutely love it. And that's actually what's making me want to do these, is so that I can incorporate those. So there's my little plug for that. That's what I'm thinking about, but I'm going to gauge it with you guys and see if there's interest for that. So before I forget, all right, we're coming into a nice all fours position. So starting to come around into that nice tabletop. Taking a few moments. I know I was chatting while I was moving and I wasn't cueing it. So letting you get there. Stacking the knees under the hips. Hands and wrists under the shoulders. Take that nice big inhale breath. Start to look up. Let the belly button press down towards the ground. Feel that nice scoop through the spine. If you want a little more, press into those hands and extend the head away from the shoulders. Find that extra bit of length. Take that exhale breath. Start to tuck the chin in, rounding through the spine, pressing the spine up towards the ceiling. That nice angry cat. If you want that little extra, keep pressing into the hands to really press those shoulders up a little bit higher. So good. Moving at your own pace. You can take those inhales to drop the belly down. You can really exaggerate them. I know I like to go nice and slow for these. Lots of people go a little bit faster, but I find if I really kind of get into it, I'm lengthening through the spine and it's still working on that little bit of mobility. It feels just really good. Must do something in my brain that adds a little extra. All right, let's take our last one here. Make your way to tabletop, just a nice flat back. And just bring those hands maybe just a little bit more forward. Let's tuck those toes under and start to press into those hands, into the feet, lifting the knees up and sending the hips up nice and high, coming into your downward dog. I find that I actually need to take a little step back even further from that so that I can really extend along, because I don't want to be hunching through my shoulders. I don't want any of that angry cat happening. I want to be able to find that length through those arms, nice and strong. And I was originally taught in yoga that you start from your tabletop position and just press up into downward dog. But my hands and my feet were so close together that I couldn't get into the pose almost at all. And I was really struggling. And it wasn't until someone gave me the freedom to explore downward dog and move my feet back a little bit that I was able to find what they were talking about. All right, let's look towards the front of the mat. Take a couple of steps or hop into a nice forward fold. Beautiful. Letting the head hang nice and heavy. Maybe you give a little shake no to release some of that tension. Let's inhale, halfway lift. Roll those shoulders back and down. I like to press my hands into my legs and to take that little moment to extend. I'm all about lengthening the spine in the yoga. I think that's so healthy for us. And we don't really get to spend a lot of time upside down. So all this lengthening is our way of resetting the body. Let's just bring a gentle bend to the knees. Start to drop those hips down. If you notice, we're pretty much in a chair pose. All you have to do is sweep those arms up. Oh, beautiful. beautiful chair pose. Press into those feet to come all the way up to standing. Reach it up nice and tall. Exhale. Hands to heart center. Beautiful. Hanging out in your nice mountain pose. Start to squeeze the toes in towards the mat. Maybe you roll into toes and heels. Just starting to activate into the feet. Telling them, hey, it's time for you guys to shine and focus. Really great thing to do before any of your standing poses and postures get underway, and especially as you move into any balances. Just connecting the feet to the brain, having that nice direct connection and that awareness built up through those little wiggles is really great. All right, let's imagine the knees as little dials, and let's dial them outwards. Notice how that just activated all the sidelines of your legs, probably feeling that into the hips. You're so nice and strong, and the knees are nice and protective. All of those tendons and connective tissue around the knees are nice and engaged here. Pull that belly button in or feel that tuck of the tailbone, scooping under. Inhale and exhale, roll the shoulders back and down, palms face open. So whenever someone references mountain pose, this is what they're talking about. Is that nice, strong activation through the whole body, just standing here. It might not look like much if someone were to be walking by, but we're actually like nice and strong, nice and active. And this is a great way to stand if you're hanging out, getting dinner ready, brushing your teeth, combing your hair, just practicing this. We'll start to stabilize some of the muscles and build a little bit of strength through there. So it's a great thing to add in every day if you can. That's my challenge. Let's see if you can do it 7 days in a row. I'll check in next week and see if you had success there. Beautiful. Let's start to shift the weight towards that left leg. Just start to come up onto those right toes. So just getting ready to take the weight off of that foot completely, and find something to focus in on. In yoga, we call that your drishti point. And take that nice big inhale and lengthen. Exhale, keep pressing into that nice left standing leg. And then start to bring the knee up. Maybe you just come up a couple inches, or maybe you really bring that knee up towards the chest. Totally your choice, working with your own balance and abilities here. No shame if you're anywhere in between, even if you need to keep that toe touching down. I also say if you imagine holding onto a railing, that often helps with balance. Beautiful. Let's bring that knee out towards the side. So even if you're really still super low, we're just getting some external rotation there. Keep pressing into that left standing leg and plant that foot on that standing leg. So even if you still have that toe touching down, we're coming up a little higher, or with a helping hand, bringing that hand or that foot above the knee. Your choice. Now keep pressing left foot down, lengthening through the leg, and then maybe even keep pressing that right foot a little bit harder into the leg to find that openness through the knee. Arms can adjust however they need to help you keep your balance. Maybe if you want an extra little challenge, they start to come up a little higher, maybe a little higher, maybe you reach all the way up. You can interlace your hands, reaching up. So nice and tall, wonderful little tree pose. Your branches can be however you want your tree. Maybe you want a little cactus tree today. Your choice. Beautiful. So nice and strong. Keep pressing into that left leg. It's probably wiggling and adjusting through the ankle. That is excellent. Super healthy for that ankle, for it to be working really hard here. All right, with control, we're going to start to come out. So let's stand nice and tall, pull that belly button in, and let's try to just unstick the leg. So just bring that foot off the leg. Beautiful. Bring that knee back in and touch the foot down. Take a couple moments. You can maybe march it out. If you don't work on a lot of balance postures, that was probably tons on that left foot. You can take a little wiggle from side to side. I don't know, however you like to release. Feels really good. Excellent. All right, let's come back into that nice mountain pose. So finding all that nice alignment, squeezing the toes in, pressing the heels down, having it be equal between the front of your foot and your heel, dialing those knees open, activating through those sidelines, tuck of the pelvis. Exhale, breath. Shoulders drop back and down, palms face forward. Beautiful. Feeling all that nice openness through the collarbone. Take a nice big inhale. See if you can get a little taller. Exhale. Nice and strong. So good. Let's start to shift that weight into that right foot now. Starting to just lean over ever so slightly. And left toes start to come up. Taking your moment, finding that point to focus in on, making sure that point isn't a bug on the floor that's moving. That's what I originally looked at. As you start to feel nice and solid, start to see if you can start to float that left leg up. Beautiful. Coming up nice and high or hanging out low, whatever is your challenge level for however, maybe you remember that intention. Maybe it was to be really gentle in the body or to find a little love. So how can you honor your intention in this pose? Beautiful. Let's start to open up through the leg. Bringing it out towards the side, taking a little moment, just feeling that connection, and then planting the foot on that standing leg, still pressing in. Take a moment, really root down into that right standing leg, pressing it in, and see if you can open up through that hip, pushing that knee back a little bit more by pressing it in towards that standing leg. So nice and strong, and keep that core nice and engaged. That'll help stabilize. And with your balance, or maybe you imagine holding onto that railing. You can start to play around with the arms, bring them up, reaching up nice and tall. Excellent. Or just whatever you want it to look like. Hanging out. My dog just saw the fly. She went for it. Don't think she got it though. Did you get the fly? No? Okay. Beautiful. Yeah, we're still working on standing here. Keep all of that nice engagement, even if you have that toe touching down. Beautiful. With nice and control, let's start to come out of it. Arms can do whatever they need to do to help you balance. Let's unstick the foot. Bring that knee back towards center and bring that foot all the way back down. Take your little moment to pedal it out, march it out, stomp it out, jump up and down. Whatever you'd like to do to release, maybe take a little wiggle, bending through the knees. So good. Excellent. All right, standing nice and tall at the top of your mat. Take a nice big inhale and lengthen. Exhale, set in nice and strong. Spin those knees out. So good. Let's step those right toes back, coming into a warrior two position. So that means those right toes point towards the long edge of the mat. Left toes just to still stay glued forward. Add a little bend to that left leg. Then feel that openness happening through the hips. So trying to keep that knee in line with the foot. So even if you want to keep this more gentle, the leg's a little more straight, but the knee isn't falling inwards or falling outwards. Inwards is a little bit more common. So working with that, and then imagine that right hip spinning open or that right shoulder spinning open, and odds are that'll imagine that openness through the head. Even if there's no movement that happens there, that's okay. It's just that imagining that opening that'll start to work with those muscles. Beautiful. Let's reach those arms out. Here's our warrior two. Gaze can go forward, looking to the left. Take a nice big inhale, pressing into the feet, see if you can get a little taller. Exhale, pull the belly button in, be nice and strong. Beautiful. Feel all of that power through the legs. So good. And let's straighten through that front leg. Reach the arms up. Exhale, back into that knees. Warrior two. Take that inhale, reach it out. Just working with a bit of movement here. Still trying to keep things nice and gentle. Reach it up. And down. One more time, up, back into that nice warrior two, pressing into the legs, so strong. So we've got two different forces happening in the legs. We've got the outer side of the legs that's really pushing down and in and anchoring in. And then try to zip up those inner thighs and pulling them in. So you've got those two different directions happening, and that's adding that extra bit of strength through the legs. Beautiful. Feels so good. Excellent. Let's heel toe that back foot in a little bit closer so that we can nice and safely step towards the top of our mat. Let's inhale, reach it up, nice and tall, just taking a big stretch. You want a little back bend, maybe your head just tips back, maybe you reach those arms back slightly. Keep pushing those hips forward. Come on back. Hands to heart center. Let's step that left foot back and coming into our warrior two. On the other side, I'm gonna just switch so my back isn't towards you. So right toe is pointing forward, left toe is pointing towards that long edge of the mat. And usually your feet are kind of in line here. So that line that that right foot is drawing back might come in line with the arch of that left foot. Adjusting the distance between the leg farther apart for more intensity, closer together for more ease, adding a bend to that right leg. Maybe even bring your hand onto the knee and just imagine that left hip spinning open. So keeping that knee in line with that foot. So good. Let's reach those arms out, being so nice and strong, pressing into the feet. Take that nice inhale, get a little bit taller. Exhale, draw that belly button in, feel that little tip of the pelvis, tucking the tailbone under. Excellent, so strong here. Let's straighten through that front leg, reach it up. Exhale down. Just taking a few of these, working with a little bit of movement. It's almost like little lunge pulses, but a little bit more gentle. I didn't exactly count how many we did on the other side, so we'll just do one more here, bringing it down. Reach it up nice and tall and make your way back into the strongest warrior two you've done. Imagining that outer line pressing down in, inner thighs zip up so nice and strong, arms reach out and almost like you're a bird and they're weightless. Gaze can go to the right, looking forward. Take a nice big inhale, remembering to breathe. Exhale. Pull everything in so nice and strong. Beautiful. Let's heel toe that back foot in a little bit closer, looking towards the front of your mat. Take a nice big step, meeting at the top. Let's inhale, reach it up nice and tall. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, hands to heart. Press into those hands, roll those shoulders back, give them a nice little squeeze of the shoulder blades, and start to slide your back down that invisible wall. Bending the knees, sinking the hips, coming into a nice little chair pose. Your choice, you can just still stay up nice and high, or you can really start to add a bend in. Pull that belly button in, activating into that low back. You don't want any of that little cow pose where that back is really scooping. Try to have that nice flat back. Excellent. Let's rest the body on the legs as we come into our forward fold. Tipping over. So good. Nice big inhale. And then exhale, soften. Beautiful. We're going to journey on down towards our mats now. So take that inhale, just lengthen through the spine. Exhale, bend the knees so you can plant the hands down. Take that nice big step back. Just quick little downward dog, feeling that nice stretch on the shoulders. And then let's drop the knees. Coming down and spinning around onto our backs. Rolling back and down. Finishing off with a little bit more stretching, finding a little more openness. Roll those shoulders back and down. Take a nice big inhale, get nice and tall. Press the entirety of that spine in towards the mat. See if you can get every vertebrae pressing in or as close to as possible. Exhale, relax. Relax the shoulders, relax the hips. Let's bring that left leg in towards the chest. Just kind of holding on. You can either hold on top of the knee, back of the knee, however you want to. If you want a little more, you can start to send that right leg a little bit longer. There could still be a bend to that knee, or you could really extend and flex through the toes, bring the toes close towards the leg, extending through the heel. Bring that attention back to that left leg. Give it a nice big hug in. Maybe you take a little movement, rocking it back and forth. Working on finding that nice sweet spot in the hip. Getting a little hip opener action here too. Beautiful. When you find that sweet spot, just brace a little stillness. Maybe you hug that leg in ever so slightly closer. And see if you can relax through the shoulders and relax through the arms. So try not to hold that tension too much. Just hold on just enough to keep that leg in place. Take a nice big inhale. Fill the lungs, fill the abdomen. And that exhale, see if you can soften, let go of that unnecessary tension throughout the body. Beautiful. Let's start to come back to whatever center is. My knee likes to be out decently, so just hugging it back in. And let's plant that left foot down. Start to hug that right knee in towards the body and giving it a nice big squeeze. Maybe start to extend that left leg a little bit more. It can still be a bend, or you can really extend it long. Totally your choice. Pose still works. Take a little rock back and forth with that right hip, that right leg. Finding that sweet spot. Or maybe just noticing all of those tender spots. I've got a lot on my right side. I always have one side that's a little tighter than the other though. A little bit different than the other. Or holds the tension differently. Alright, when you find that sweet spot, come to your stillness. Take a nice big inhale. And exhale. Start to melt in towards your mat, relaxing through the body. Relieving some of that tension. Letting it feel really good. Taking one more little round of breath. Excellent. Starting to return that right leg towards neutral, maybe hugging it in a little bit more. Send that right leg nice and long. We'll just take one more good morning stretch, reaching the arms up, maybe pointing through the toes, finding all of that length. And hug both knees in towards the body. Take that little rock from side to side. And I always like to finish with a nice happy baby. It helps reset the spine. It opens up through the hips. Your choice though to just still hang out here. If this is working for you, you can hold the back of the knees and draw the knees in. Feet kind of go upwards. Or you can reach on through the knees for the feet. Bring the feet up towards the ceiling. Knees will draw in towards the body. Take that inhale and lengthen through the crown of the head. Maybe you actively pull into the feet, kick into the hands. And then just relax, enjoying a little moment of freestyle. Is there another pose or movement your body is craving? Before you settle into your final Shavasana, your chance to maybe create a new pose. Maybe it might even be a standing pose. Doing legs up the wall is often a crowd pleaser for Shavasana. So you're welcome to get into that. I still need to teach a wall class. They're so satisfying. So good. And then settle into that final pose. Whatever that looks like for you today. I like the little boss arms, hands behind the head as a nice little pillow. Elbows drawing open. Connecting in with the breath, maybe scanning through the body, seeing how you're feeling. Take that nice big inhale, fill the lungs, breathing into that abdomen. Exhale, let it go. And take a nice big inhale, nice and tall. Exhale, side out. One more nice big breath in. Exhale, release. You can continue with those nice big inhales and exhales, or just return to a normal rate of breathing, starting to enjoy your Shavasana, your stillness, your peace that you've created. Even if there's chaos or things happening around you, just start to only allow what's happening on your mat to be what's in your focus. Excellent. This is where I will leave you to enjoy the rest of your Shavasana. Take all the time you need. I thank you so much for joining me this morning. If you joined in live or if you're rewatching, I always appreciate both. It's an honor to be able to share something I love with you and for you to take time out of your day and share your practice with me. So I hope that the rest of your day is filled with moments of joy, and I pray that you are always blessed. Thank you and namaste. Beautiful. So if you live in the St. Albert area, I do teach in a studio on Saturdays and Sundays. So if that's something that interests you, it's at Lahari. And I've got a couple of classes, 2 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. The Sunday one is not a gentle class. It is a hot, sweat your butt off kind of class. But you're welcome to try it out. I still provide tons of modifications. So if you were interested in ever trying a hot class, that might be a great one to start off with, but no pressure. Just thought I'd throw out there that if you want to meet me, join me at Lahari on Saturdays. Okay, beautiful.